We're going to talk about how Trump won. So that's going to be fun. We're going to talk about that because
And
I
the
don't know.
scariest thing on the planet, Matt Gates. Oh no! I'm kidding.
Also, Joshua called it. I was
Oh
not
yeah,
believing him. So Joshua, my husband, this is Joshua Fontania.
Yeah, follow me
He
too.
told me that Trump was going to win, and he had the exact electoral count. He said 312 Trump, and there's even a tweet to prove this. This is before the day of the election. My husband was saying Trump's going to win, and it's going to be 312 Trump, and he's going to win the popular vote.
Good
And
call.
my negative, depressed, realist self did not believe him because of what happened in 2020. And
Which I at first was a doomer on that too, but I came around. The statistics on the ground were just, it was obvious he was going to win. But yeah.
So we are going to go into how Trump won. Before I get started on that, though, I wanted to tell you guys that I have been demonetized on YouTube for the third time, and this time I did not win my appeal. So demonetization means that when I post a video on YouTube, even though they can add ads, I don't get anything for it. I usually make around $200 to $700 a month from YouTube views, and they have taken that away from me. And they say the reason they say that they take it away from me is they say that I use reused content, even though every single one of my videos is me.
You've never done that once.
Yeah.
I mean, you at least add captions and your own
But
commentary.
still, if you look at my YouTube channel, every single one of my videos is me. So obviously I'm being targeted. And I really do love YouTube. It's my favorite platform because you guys are very supportive of me and you get me. You get the satire right away. You're an intelligent audience. So if you do want to support my work or our work in our school, you can go to thinkexodus.org if you'd like to donate. I do not make any money from YouTube. So I'm here. I want to do more long form stuff, but it's pretty messed up that I'm being targeted by them and demonetized when I know there's a lot of people who do a lot worse things on YouTube and they make money from it.
Yes.
So, and just so you guys know, someone with 260,000 followers and millions of views, because I do get a lot of views every month, I still only make about $500 when I am monetized. So if you're trying to have a career in YouTube, it's pretty much you have to have millions and millions of followers and not be conservative. Anyways, yes, we would love Elon to buy YouTube and to just, he has the money. That guy is worth how much? $300 billion. We are so
nuts.
Grateful to have Elon on our side. We have the best people on our side. And I think that this wouldn't have happened 4 years ago. So even though I didn't like that Biden won in 2020, whether you think he won it fairly or not. I think that a lot of people have woken up the last 4 years, and I think that Trump is being set up because remember, it was Trump Pence in 2020, and I think Trump is being set up so much for a lot more of a successful White House this next 4 years than if he had won in 2020. So that's something to be thankful for.
He would have still had all the swamp creatures in there, and he wouldn't have had the House and the Senate at the time. He probably would have lost both of those,
and they would have kept impeaching him. And now they can't impeach him because he has the House and Senate.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of rhinos.
Yes.
And that's going to be.
And they're trying.
Yes, and things are looking real up right now, and we're kind of the calm before the storm. But when Trump actually enters the White House, we're going to see a lot of flipping out from the left, and they're going to call him a dictator because he's going to get all of his appointees.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that? How
Sure.
he's going to do it?
Well, let's talk about how Trump won.
Okay,
first.
let's talk about how he won.
So again, Joshua predicted it. My husband, he said that Trump was going to win with a 312 electoral vote. What was your thoughts on that? How did you get that guess?
It's, not because I'm some election specialist and I'm looking at my bookmarks right now. Basically what I do for the news is I go on X and then I bookmark everything I find interesting. So I'm looking at my bookmarks right now. But I follow people who do know what they're talking about. So all you got to do is just follow people with a track record. And so I follow like Rich Barris. He's People's Pundit. If you look up People's Pundit on X, I think what is he? People's_Pundit on X. Rich Barris is fantastic. There's I think it's Quantis poll. There's a few different polls that were the ones that were correct the last couple years. And I followed those ones, and they were like they were breaking down like the voter registration. You can't fake that. I mean, it's one thing to look at, like exit polls are not usually very accurate, things like that. But if you look at voter registration trends and you look at early voting, there's no faking that. Like
Yeah.
early voting is early voting. They voted, right? And you could see, okay, here's the amount that are coming in for Republicans. Here's the amounts coming in for Democrats. And here's the, voter registration trends. And it was all like way on the side of Republicans more than it normally is for early voting and for registration, just not even close. And they were calling it on the states. And I heard that the strategy of Trump was to lock up the Electoral College on the East Coast, in the swing states on the East Coast early. That way, you couldn't do what happened in 2020, where at 3 a.m, vote count stops, and then, hey, what's going on? Shenanigans, right? You couldn't do it because the election's already called early. There's no, whether you think what happened in 2020 or not was legit, it just, there wouldn't be a chance for it to happen because the election gets called by the East Coast time zone swing states first. Sorry, my dog's a gremlin.
Mm-hmm.
This is Eli. He's a sweetheart, though. Mm-hmm. So they and that was the vote total. It was 312, and it was like, you look at those numbers and there was no way around it. So that's how I call it for that.
And then we also had Kamala Harris was an extreme candidate.
Yes.
So they really chose someone who has a track record for being an extremist. If you look at Kamala Harris and her track record as Attorney General and her track record as Vice President, which isn't much, but her stances on things like illegal immigration, there was countless quotes of Kamala Harris saying that migrants, illegals crossing over the border should not be criminalized.
She was horrible.
And so she was and she spent $1 billion in 3 months and still is 20 million in debt. Had every single celebrity that you can think of endorse her. Spent a ton of money on that, 10 million on Beyonce. And now I can't say the word Beyonce without thinking about Donald Trump. He has changed the word Beyonce for
he said
the rest of my life.
Well,
there's a song with him now. Something with Beyonce.
Oh,
Beyonce. Yeah. And now I hear the word Beyonce and I hear Trump. And I'm like, I love it.
I just can't wait for the first presidential press conference where he says China.
And then, true. And then Trump ran a really smart campaign. I mean, he had so many viral moments. It was like he took lemons and turned it into lemonade.
Yeah.
The assassination attempt and that incredible image of him standing up and putting his fist in the air, and saying, fight, fight, fight. The Biden calling Trump supporters garbage, and then Trump pulls up in a garbage truck. Kamala Harris saying that she works at McDonald's, but you can't find proof of this. And so Donald Trump goes and actually works at McDonald's for a day. Right. Just he ran a brilliant campaign.
Yeah. And hats off to his campaign managers, the people that were leading that, because they were getting a lot of flack. And I was listening to them a couple months ago. It was like, what is Trump doing? Some of the stuff that he was saying, like on abortion and on, he was really, really trying hard to reach like minorities and younger people. And it was like, and there was some criticism of that. There was people, I think one of his campaign people said something to the extent of, we're going for, and I don't know if this is word for word, but it was, we're going for the Jamals and the
dance party with Beyonce. That's what it was. Party with Beyonce,
But somebody in his campaign saying something like, we're going for the Jamals and the Javiers or something like that. And that got a lot of flack. There was a lot of people who were like, yo, why are you doing that? Why are you focusing on minorities? They never vote Republican. It's not going to happen. And those people need to apologize because it worked.
You know who else needs to apologize?
Who?
All of the people that were going Team DeSantis a year ago.
Yeah, the ones who were saying Trump can't win.
Also the ones that saying that DeSantis wasn't going to run, and Trump's being a crying baby calling him out.
Yep.
If you guys recall, there was about almost, I would say, a good amount of conservative commentators were all of a sudden, at the same time, speaking against Trump. This was like a year ago. And promoting DeSantis.
Not us.
Yeah. And saying that that Trump's a crying baby. And I quote, that was one of the conservative talking heads. Um, and saying that that Trump can't win. We were hearing that a lot, that Trump can't win.
They were saying that the media is propping up Trump
Yeah.
so that he can be the nominee because he can't win.
Yeah. And so I just want to remind you guys of that because that was a really crap take. It really was. And a lot of those people were being paid. That was a paid campaign.
It was paid.
And you know what? DeSantis is fine as governor.
I agree. As governor,
DeSantis is fine.
We're in Florida.
Yes,
love it.
He did a great job at the hurricanes. Like I like him as governor, but it wasn't his time yet.
Mm-hmm.
And if he wants to earn our trust to be our leader as president, he needs to be supportive of Trump, right?
Yeah, which he's doing now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people,
the influencers,
and you know what? Even JD Vance wasn't a fan of Trump.
Yeah, at first,
so there was a time when he wasn't a fan of Trump, and I think that I was very critical of JD Vance because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's proving to me that he's a good guy. The more I'm listening to him, because I'm never someone who just immediately supports someone because everyone tells me to do that.
Yeah.
But I've been listening to him, and I think JD Vance with a beard is much better than JD Vance without a beard. JD Vance without a beard was kind of a farva, and JD Vance with a beard is, kind of an alpha, and he's proving to be someone that is hopefully will be loyal to Trump. But time will tell. Words are always words.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how all of this shakes up with the White House. Things are looking amazing with Elon Musk and Vivek. Even Vivek, I'm a little weary of him, but I also think that he's a smart guy. And I'm glad that he is working with Trump instead of against Trump. And I think that's really good. And Trump is a uniter. I mean, look, he got Tulsi, Elon, Vivek.
It's pretty crazy.
And now we have
legendary stuff that's happening.
And now we have JFK.
Or RFK.
RFK Jr. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. RFK Jr. and that's he's a uniter. And that's really cool. And I think that also Trump is a uniter amongst people that voted for him because we are a very diverse group. I am someone that doesn't like Bush. I don't like, the Republicans of 10 years ago and 15 years ago.
The Cheneys and
all of them. And I'm really glad that I have someone that I can actually vote for and support because there was a time when I felt like I couldn't support either party. So this is a very exciting time. And
should we talk a little bit? Okay, because this is called How Trump Won. So let's do really. I saw that. I was going to put that out. You did.
I did.
Let's talk a little bit about how he won briefly.
Yeah.
And then we can talk maybe about what's going on right now. So I saw Charlie Kirk put out a tweet where he said that the way that the Trump campaign did his campaign was basically throughout the old playbook. The old playbook was you pay a bunch of consultants, you pay, to have all this TV ads and all this stuff, and you focus on the mainstream media and you go on their, town halls and whatever, which he did some of that too. But you really focus on the big, the big news networks and you kiss their butts and all that kind of stuff. And Trump went kind of the opposite. And he went to podcasts, which was different. And then the other thing that he did was he didn't try to focus on the high propensity voters. So people who have a record, they voted in midterm elections and and they've done it for multiple years. What his campaign did was really smart. They kind of repeated what they did in 2016. Because you remember in 2016, the way that Trump won and the reason it was such a big surprise was he got voters who hadn't voted in decades or never voted. So you couldn't poll those people because they weren't on the radar of the polling agencies. And they came out in numbers. Now, they didn't come out in the same numbers in 2020. I mean, they still did, but, it was a little different during COVID and all that. But so he went after them again. And he went after them specifically in Pennsylvania, places like that. And they went after frat boys. They would go to frat parties and register everyone there to vote. Young men, because they were like, hey, if the young men are swinging to the right, let's go for them. And they just went after these low propensity voters and the
Amish.
Yes. And they got these people registered and
180,000 Amish were registered. Yeah.
Yep. And 6 Scott Pressler on them.
Smart. Very smart. campaign. And then again, Kamala Harris was not a was a terrible candidate on the other side.
Exactly.
And she ran a terrible campaign. I
Terrible.
mean, just choosing all the hoochie mamas to do their performances on. I mean, the first performance of her campaign was Megan Thee Stallion. It was low class. It was trashy.
Mm-hmm.
It was celebrities. She just came across as so fake, and I think that's been Kamala Harris's main weakness from the beginning. I remember when she was running in 2020, and or no, 20 it was 2016. It was 2016. Was it 2016?
Kamala Harris?
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah. Oh,
2020.
yeah.
2020. She ran in
Yeah,
2020.
yeah. 2020. It's
2020.
2024.
Gosh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
time. Where is
Yeah.
it going? So she ran in 2020. And I remember just being like, this woman is so fake. She just does not come
Yeah.
across as genuine. And it's been proven that she's super fake. I mean, the phone calls, the fake phone calls that she would
I
do,
know.
and there's like nothing on the phone, like she's just talking into the phone, like, and just her record was terrible. And so I think people, and what's so beautiful about all of this, which really I've been walking with a pep in my step the last couple of weeks, is the fact that even if Trump, even if it ends up being a bunch of drama this next 4 years, which it
It
could
will.
be, they hate him, and I
At
think
least
that
on the media, that
they
will.
do want to collapse the country, and they could
Yeah.
do it under him
They
and
might.
blame
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about them collapsing the country under Trump and then blaming him and being like, it's
Something
all
like
his
that.
fault, right?
Like they did in 2020.
Yeah. So yeah, like what they did, a repeat of 2020, but worse. But what makes me so happy is the amount of people that voted for him, because it really wasn't even just a vote for Trump. It was a vote against all of the hyper extreme leftism.
Well, and he got a lot of Democrats too. He got a
Yeah.
lot of guys who were like the RFK and the Maha people, the Make America Healthy Again people. He got a lot of them too. And, regardless of whether you think about Trump, he followed through on his promise. Like he could have just used RFK, got those people's votes, and then
Elon.
said, peace out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elon. And no, they're in the admin now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we talk about some of the nominations?
Sure. Sure.
So I think what Trump is doing is the like shotgun approach, where you just kind of hit him with so
Matt
many
Gates.
things, right?
Attorney General Matt
Their
Gates.
heads are exploding
Yes.
right now. He's hitting them, and this is what the left has done to us for the last few years, where it's like you turn on the news, and there was a time where it was like every day another crazy thing was happening from the left. Obama's doing something, then Biden's doing something, and it was something crazy, and they just keep coming, and you can't even keep up with it. And I feel like that's what Trump's doing now to them. He's turned the tables around, and it's like, here's this nomination, here's another one, here's another one. I mean, they're coming out like 5 a day, and if you notice, they've been building. He gives some, you're like, oh, who's that guy? Oh, okay, I guess he's good. I don't really like the guy who's going to lead the Department of Defense. I didn't know who that was. He's a Fox News host. I don't watch Fox really, but that guy apparently they were mad about. And then it was like Matt Gates, and now they're like, whoa. And then it was like, here's RFK Jr. They're like, ah. It just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And so, but I think that's going to be the first battle, right? Is can he get these people through? And the debate is, can he just do the recess appointments? That's the debate.
And what is a recess appointment?
So for those who don't know, the Constitution says that the Senate has a advise and consent role, meaning they get to approve his cabinet appointments. But if they are at recess, if they're not in session at the moment, then a president can appoint somebody while they're at recess and just say, hey, that's the interim person, basically, until you guys come back and make a decision. So a recess appointment is Senate adjourns, Trump puts them in, right? But they have to kind of agree to that. You kind of have to have a Senate leader who says, I agree to call a recess because I know you're going to do that. It's never really a surprise. It's kind of planned. Well, there's a loophole. And the loophole is Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution, which says that the president can adjourn both houses of Congress whenever he wants to, basically. And then once he's done that, it doesn't say this part, but he can, once they're adjourned, he can put in everyone.
And if he does that, they're going to call him a dictator for sure.
He's probably going to do it. And the reason why he's going to do it, guys like Matt Gaetz already resigned from Congress. Like they're already like, there's no need to keep the old Congress position because I know I'm going in.
That makes
And so
sense.
it's happening. And then you look at Moderna stocks after RFK Jr. was appointed, and it's like Trump's going to get his cabinet. He's going to
Yeah.
get what he wants. They're going to flip.
So right now, the left is pretty calm. We haven't had a bunch of riots.
Yes.
There was a big protest in
I think they're
Chicago.
stunned.
But I think that they are going to pop off when the deportations start to happen.
Yes.
The guy that he appointed for immigration control, I don't know his name.
Oh yeah.
But
Holman.
yeah,
That guy's base.
yeah, he's a no nonsense kind of guy. And right now, just so you guys know, deportations are happening right now.
Yeah.
Deportations happened during Biden. Deportations happened during,
Obama.
Obama was known as the deporter in chief.
Yep.
There was a year where he deported more people than ever in our history.
Yep.
We just don't hear about it. But when when the Trump deportations are going to start, we're going to be hearing sob stories in the news about deportations. Yeah. That's
Personal
cool.
thank you.
We're going to be hearing sob stories about the deportations, just like how when they wanted us to be scared about COVID, you log into CNN and every single day it was a headline about someone dying from COVID. There's still people dying from COVID today.
Yeah.
I mean, technically dying,
but you don't
but you don't hear about it. So they're going to push sob stories about deportations, and that's when the left is going to start popping off. Is we're going to see them, and here's the thing: if they pop off like they did during the Summer of Love. BLM's Summer of Love, as bad as that, Trump is going to order troops on them.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And he is going to do exactly what the left is saying, accusing him of.
Yeah, he's going to have to.
He's going to have to, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. So right now, there's a calm before the storm. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do think they're going to try and be a little smarter about it, though. Like, so somebody mentioned AOC photo ops. It just reminded me, you guys know that AOC removed pronouns from her Twitter bio.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. When AOC does it, that there's a reason for this, guys. She somebody told her to do this. She's not that smart. Somebody told her to, and there's a strategy. So there was an article that came out, like it was on Vox, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the election, that said that if Kamala loses, because they were expecting her to lose, they knew, they just weren't telling their people, expect the Democrats to shift to the right. And I do think you're going to see that. I think, the way that Kamala was kind of pretending to be about freedom and to like, oh no, we want to, do tax breaks and stuff. Like, nobody believed her.
And she was all of a sudden pro border control.
Exactly. They're going to do that kind of stuff to confuse and make it seem, oh, no, both sides are moderate. What are you talking about? And they're going to pretend the last 10 years didn't happen. And they're just going to moderate. They're going to cut down on all
just like how they pretended they weren't the ones who were in favor of lockdowns and forced shots during COVID. I mean, you don't hear anything. You don't hear them talking about how we did such a great job during COVID. You don't hear them talking about that.
Because they lost in a landslide. I mean, they lost the popular vote. The smart ones are going to want to moderate. Yeah. The crazies are still going to be crazy. Mm-hmm. And the crazies are going to be mad about it. And those are the ones that I think you're talking about. And they're still going to want to go nuts. And they're going to, Summer of Love probably again. And that might actually rip the Democrat Party apart. Mm-hmm. That friction between the moderates and the far left. But we'll see.
But let's just take a sigh.
I wait for China. Wait for him to say it.
Yeah. I'm excited for. This is what I'm excited for. I'm excited for Christmas during Trump presidency.
Melania,
the beautiful
Christmas.
White House that she does instead of the clown show. And I hope that Melania gets her flowers like she does, like she should.
Yeah, can we put her on a
magazine?
Because
she is so classy and beautiful. And has great style.
Literal supermodel.
And then I'm also excited for Trump and the 250th birthday of America, of the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
And his celebrations for that.
He gets the World Cup.
The Olympics.
In L.A. and the 250th celebration. And I think something else of America. It's just, yeah.
We need to pray prayer of protection over Trump. And we need to make sure that they're not done.
Why you gotta be mean to gingers?
These evil people will not rest. They will not rest. Yeah. They may go dormant for just a moment. We're not hearing from them that much right now.
Yeah, there's a plan.
But there is a plan. And if they do take out Trump, that's going to be very hard on a lot of us.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard on a lot of us because he is a figurehead. He's a figurehead of a movement, and the movement is very positive and beautiful, and it represents a protection of this country and what we stand for. And if they take out the figurehead, the movement is going to have a hard time staying alive. And
But it's
so,
grown.
yeah,
It's
it's
grown, and
grown.
you
It's
got Vance
definitely
in the
grown.
wings, and we
Yes.
got. I mean, things are
But there's
things.
no leader like Trump. And he is a
No,
great
yeah,
leader.
yeah.
He is a great leader. He's very inspiring. And that's something that has been a lesson to me in resilience, because this man has faced so much opposition. And I mean, I don't know, I even know how he gets all the stuff that he gets done in his day. And he's like almost twice my age.
Yeah.
and and yet he still keeps us laughing. He's still fighting. He still has stuck to the same messaging. He has not changed. And that is something to be inspired by. And I also want to encourage everyone to take advantage of this next 4 years. You know, once you see the economy taking a turn for the better, you have more money in the bank, don't waste this time. I feel like I wasted the first 4 years of Trump's presidency. I mean, imagine if all the people that started like their YouTubes during Trump's presidency, they are big, because there was
Yeah.
way less censorship during that
Mm-hmm.
time. And imagine if Kamala had won, we would be, all of us would be shut down. You know, that's right now, the World Health Organization, they say the number one threat, not the World Health Organization, what's the other big?
CDC.
No, not the World Health Organization. It's the other
International group.
international
The
group.
UN.
No, it's not the UN.
Uh,
Global, I don't know. They're the creepy. They're creepy. They
uh,
all meet together once a year. Anyways, they say
Bilderbergers or
no. They
something.
say the number one threat. Is it the WEF?
WEF. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably that.
They say the number one threat is misinformation
Mm.
to the world is
Mm.
misinformation. And so they're really going to go after our social media. And I really truly believe that Trump won because of
Yeah.
so many grassroots creators and people that are debunking all of the lies about Trump constantly. I mean, if you look at the mainstream media, they lie about everything that he does and that he has done. I mean, they skew things, they take things out of context. I mean, how many times have you heard the good people on both sides quote taken out of context?
Mm-hmm.
And if you did not have, people
X.
showing you, hey, this is taken out of context, and this is actually what he said. Imagine if we didn't have people warning us about during COVID and all of that. You know, I mean, it's so they were going to go after creators like myself. And if you are feeling called to speak up about something, please do not waste this time.
Mm.
Open up a YouTube, start your Instagram, be yourself.
Mm.
We have enough intelligent talking heads that are paid. We need more everyday Americans to stand up in this fight, and also, open your small business. Think about the dreams that you've always wanted to do. Pursue them, because right now we're getting some bot time. We're
Mm-hmm.
getting some bot time, and do
Yep.
not waste it. I mean, that is just take care of your health so you can take advantage of this next 4 years. This is my cheerleading teacher colleague pep talk for you guys and for myself, because I don't want to waste this 4 years. I mean, we've been given a gift and we need to take advantage of it. So yeah, Trump won. Trump won. I mean, are you guys shocked? Were you guys shocked? I was pretty shocked. I didn't believe Joshua
I
because he
was.
knew that
I
he was going
knew,
to win.
but yeah, I knew, but I was also. It's such a relief. It still doesn't seem real, and it's gonna be interesting because he's learned some lessons from last time. So it's like, how is this going to work? I mean, you already see the way that they're going to attack. You're probably going to see things like Europe and other countries are going to start cracking down on X and making it so they can't.
They would have shut down X if Kamala was
Yeah.
going to win.
Oh yeah, for sure. But they're going to do it in other countries now, and then they're going to do it in blue states are going to do that kind of stuff, and then you're going to see things like I bet you will see an omnibus bill come out pretty soon from Congress where they will pass a bill that'll fund everything that they want the way it currently is right now over through the next year, so Trump doesn't have a chance to cut the budget. Expect them to do things like that.
Oh, we're also going to see some surges at the border. That's why Texas is
Mm-hmm.
setting extra patrols right there. They're trying to get in before Trump.
So what is Trump going to do when what's Elon going to do and what's Trump going to do when they start doing that kind of stuff? Whatever he does, when they're firing people with Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, that's going to go to court. They're going to sue. Like, expect that stuff to happen. So, and they're going to lie about who's getting deported. They lied. Just think about the abortion law in Florida, and the ads that they had for that were so dishonest. They would just blatantly, straight up lie about current abortion law in Florida in order to get their bill passed. Fortunately, enough Floridians understood it, so they stopped it. But if they're willing to lie, they're going to lie about who's getting deported. They're going to say they've already started to
they're
say
deporting citizens.
American citizens. They're going
And
to. Yep.
I don't doubt if we do mass deportations, there might be a few that get caught in that. So make sure your IDs are together.
Figure it out.
Get your IDs.
Get your ID.
Yeah.
Hey,
Make sure.
Gotta crack a few
But
eggs.
The thing is, exactly, and it's not going to be pretty.
It's not going to be perfect.
Deportations are not pretty. They aren't. But it is something that needs to happen. It's a deterrent as well.
Yep.
So a lot of these things that we do as a country are to deter it from happening in the future. And the last thing I want to talk about is the dismantling of the Department of Education.
Okay,
because I've been debating people on TikTok on that, because all of a sudden the left are experts on the Department of Education, because Trump is saying that he wants to dismantle the Department of Education. And now the left thinks that it's the most essential thing to the education of our nation's children. And if we dismantle it, public education is going to fall apart, and children aren't going to receive an education. And I mean, they're flipping out about this. So for one, to dismantle the Department of Education will take an act of Congress.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to happen. I think it's a beautiful dream.
Yeah.
I think it's something to strive for, but it's probably not going to happen. So there's that.
But he can defund them. He can, which that's going to get fought too.
Yes.
But yeah.
So right now, the Department of Education has pretty decent origins. A lot of it has to do with making sure that children are being serviced equally throughout our country, especially our special needs kids.
Yeah.
They're making sure that, there's funding, because to be quite honest, special needs kids were not being serviced very good in our public schools pre-1970s. And we also had a lot less special needs kids, but that's a whole other conversation. We have a lot more students with IEPs and with learning disabilities and a lot more students with
tons.
Why can't I think today?
IEPs, learning disabilities.
Yes. Anyways.
Yeah.
Higher rate of autism. There we go. Autism.
Yeah.
There's a lot more students with autism,
which we won't talk about.
Yeah, we won't talk about that right now. But anyways, so there is some good things that the Department of Education has done. But the last 20 years, it has been a scourge. It has been a very negative thing for our country and at public education. It either needs to be completely reformed or it needs to be shut down.
Yeah.
Those two things.
Yeah.
Because the Department of Education was behind No Child Left Behind. They were the ones that implemented and enforced it. And No Child Left Behind was terrible for our public schools, because it made it so that teachers were just passing kids along, teaching to the test. We saw huge drops in reading literacy rates with No Child Left Behind. No Child Left Behind left a lot of children behind. And Department of Education was also behind implementing Common Core. Now, they didn't force Common Core on states, but here's what they did. It's similar to the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
They said that if you do not get new curriculum that's Common Core, we will withdraw funding. We won't pay for it. So in a sense, it was forced by the Department of Education. They held funds and I became a teacher when Common Core was implemented, and these districts had to get rid of all of their old math and English curriculum and replace it with a bunch of expensive Common Core curriculum. And teachers all had to be retrained, and Common Core is a failure. And I will link, when I post this video again, I'll link a whole article I wrote on it. It has been a failure. So
Cody writes at the Capitol Research Center.
So the Department of Education has not done, I can't think of anything good it's done in the last 20 years, except for harm to our public educational system.
Waste a bunch of money.
And I don't know why the left is all of a sudden pro Department of Education, and now they're even defending No Child Left Behind and Common Core, because they weren't actually into it.
They were against those things.
They will take, and this is what's the hive mind of them.
Yeah.
They're just like, Trump wants to dismantle it, therefore I love it, and we need to have it.
Yeah.
Also, SPED programs, special needs programs, those are now run by the state. The states run SPED programs. The Department of Education does not run it. And only about 10% of SPED program funding comes from the federal government.
So it's not like those things
It's not going to go away. It's not going to shut down. That's such lame misinformation. So I hate the word misinformation, but that
Uh,
truly is misinformation. They've ruined that word. So, anyways,
and I think it was the one of the teachers unions, what is it, the American Federation of Teachers,
yeah, American Federation.
was opposed
Yeah,
to the Department of
because they didn't
Education
want
in the
federal.
70s.
Because back then, states were into controlling their own
And
education, and
back then, the left was about freedom.
yeah, and we
Not
want it
anymore.
exactly, and we want to continue to be in control of our own educate because the federal standards for education is not the best way to run our schools
Yeah.
because different states call for have different needs for their students. And so, anyways,
So
just wanted to talk about
to
that.
make it clear, we would love if the Department of Education was gone,
I would
but
love it if you had me work for it.
if Trump had
Like Trump, if
to
you
come
want
in and start
to,
ripping it
yes,
apart and
reform it. Because
yeah
here's the thing: if we're not going to have Republicans for the rest of our lives, I mean, it might be nice if we had
Yeah.
Trumps forever, if he lived forever, or if we had someone who was like Trump. But if he is gone in 4 years and we have another Democrat come in and create another Department of Ed or whatever
Yeah.
and make it into what they want it to be, I
Yeah.
think it's better to reform it at
Yeah.
this point
Yeah.
because it's not. It's
Well, it would take an act
yeah,
of Congress to
yeah,
get rid of it.
yeah.
Which, I mean, if you just look at the fact that they're already fighting Trump's appointees, I mean, the idea that they're going to vote, that Congress is going to vote to get rid of the Department of Education is pretty much a long shot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we really want that, that's on us and y'all to pay attention during primaries.
Yeah.
Because we have the Congress that we have because we don't pay attention during primaries.
Yeah.
That's just it. And so we have people that suck. We have a bunch of rhinos.
Yeah.
So
that's just what I wanted to say about the Department of Ed. Like, I think they're also trying to fearmonger people about students with special needs and that they won't be served if the Department of Education is dismantled. And that is not true. States run their own SPED programs. They fund, the majority of the funding comes from that. And Trump has said that money that is 500 billion or something that's used for the Department of Education is going to be dispersed to the schools.
yeah.
So it's not like this money is going to go away.
Yes. And what's her name? The previous Secretary of Education. What was her name again?
Betsy DeVos.
DeVos.
I actually got a name this time.
Yeah, there you go. So DeVos said that the idea is not to get rid of the budget, but to get rid of the bureaucracy.
and
So it's not like they're going to get, the kids aren't going to
and that's
get
something
money.
that no politician ever talks about. That's why one of the reasons why I love Trump. He actually is going after the bloated pig of bureaucrats these are government employees that are not elected by the people. And a lot of them have a lot of special interests and they aren't trustworthy. They didn't come into their positions through a democratic process, by vote or whatever. And they are appointed and they have these, positions that are very well paid and people like the Faucis, the Faucis of our government. And so anyways, that's what we had to say about tonight. It's been real, guys. We need to come on here and do more lives. I am very, very discouraged with the way that I've been treated by YouTube and being demonetized three times.
Yeah,
and
if you came in late, Kali just got demonetized.
And now,
on YouTube.
yeah, this is the third time, and I didn't even win my appeal. Usually, I have to send in a video appeal. They really are.
They rejected
and
it.
They also suppress my views when I get demonetized. I mean, views drop. I'm already losing subscribers. They don't show up. So anyways, if you guys want to support our work, first of all, just keep watching and sharing. That's important. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I don't never ask people to subscribe, but I think that's what you're supposed to do when you're on these platforms. And then if you want to support us financially, you can support our school. That's at thinkexodus.org. Our school is a ministry. We both do extra work besides our school. We'd love to be able to just focus on our school, but our school is a ministry. So thinkexodus.org and share about our school. If you know about anyone who has kids that they're thinking about homeschooling, we're here to help you. We're teachers you can trust. We have a staff of teachers that are conservative and will not teach your child that there's more than two genders. So.
Yes. In case you didn't know, our school, we have a fully accredited K through 12 private online school program that, if you want to homeschool, you want to pull your kids out of school, but you don't want to do the teaching, we can take care
We're
of all of
we
that.
help.
And
Or if you want one class or two classes that are taught by credentialed teachers
you can
and you
just
want to
do
do
it.
the rest of it yourself.
Yeah, you can do it a la
Yeah.
carte. And then also the other thing that we offer is at our school, we have supplemental courses, which is very inexpensive, $20 a month. That's not the fully accredited one. That's different. But that one is classes taught by me and Kali, and we debunk all the woke nonsense with on-demand live, or not live, on-demand video lessons that you can even take. Kids can take it on their phone.
Yeah.
So pretty cool stuff. But that's all at thinkexodus.org, and you can also donate there if you want to support our ministry.
Yes. And I want to do another live where I talk to you guys all about our school. I haven't really shared about it enough. And that's just my own like personal, like, I don't like sharing about anything that I do because I have, imposter syndrome, I guess. Like I can't believe that we have our own school and everything that we've done. But it's a really great school, and I love our students are amazing that are in our school. I think we have about 160 right now at this point, but we can have more, and we're open for enrollment. So
Absolutely.
God bless you guys, and thank you for joining this live. It was really nice having you, Eli. Eli says hello, and Eli, he's been chasing the cat. He's been chasing our cat, Melon.
Our little sweetheart.
And we'll do this more. We'll do this more. We used to do this pretty regularly until we got super censored, and then we stopped, but we can't let them win. Got to be more like Trump.
Amen.
All right. Bye, guys.